Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sideline Podcast. On episode 220, we got to recap UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus, I believe, Anthony. And then we got, starting the NFC, we're going to recap some of these divisions over here. I believe we're going to start with the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl champs, along with some of the other pretty tough opponents in this division, minus the Cardinals. So, all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's start in the NFC. First division we got up here is NFC West. Seattle Seahawks, Super Bowl champs. Very good performance in Super Bowl. Very dominating defensively and offensively. Doing just enough to win. Sam Darnold, doing what he does best, game managing. Kenneth Walker putting the team on his back. They got a lot of decisions to make. They got a lot of guys they got to pay this year. They have plenty of cap space to do it, but do they go the cheap route, or do they try to bring everyone back to keep this show going? All those things we'll hit on here coming soon. But let's start at the bottom of the totem pole here, and that brings us to the Cardinals. Shit show of a season, to say the least. Gannon gone. Kyler Murray seemingly gone after who's the backup? Brissett. Took over after he injured his foot and played pretty decently well down the stretch and to finish the season. So Murray is most likely going to find a new home as well. So Jacob, I'll start with you. What would you grade the Cardinals season, and how is their offseason going to look after hiring their new head coach?
I mean, it's got to be an F, right? This is also an Arizona Cardinals team that started 2-0. Don't let anybody tell you different. They were 2-0 and they ended the season 3-14, including a loss, probably one of the most hilarious losses in my recent memory, to the Titans, in which I think the Titans got the game-winning touchdown off of a interception, fumble, kick, recovery in the end zone. I mean, it was just a ridiculous end to a game. Don't let anybody fool you. This is a really, really good division, and the Cardinals, they absolutely stink. I was just thinking about it. Take away Budda Baker and obviously Kyler. They don't really got good players on their team. I'm sure they got guys that, if you're a diehard Cardinals fan, but I know a lot of players on a lot of teams. I'd be struggled to tell you a lot of good players on this Cardinals. So I really think that this needs to be a full sale, rebuild, get Kyler out of town, either figure out a way to have someone pick up his money or just eat the money and just, you got to hit on your draft picks. I mean, I think they're picking in the top 5. I mean, they better be picking in the top 5. So get an impact player and start stacking them, because, I mean, this league's full of parity. So you can definitely go worst to first, just not if you're the Cardinals, because this division is too damn good, and the Cardinals are too damn bad.
Yeah, 100% agree. Lawrence, do you also agree with Jacob, or any difference in opinion here?
I think in this division alone, I think this might be one of the hardest, last to thirds too. I mean, I guess to kind of I would just say add on to what he said, the Budda Baker part, right? Yeah, they're going to move off Kyler. They might let him go and he can find his own place. They might trade him to get some kind of minuscule value they can. But honestly, like you said, Budda Baker can probably get you a third. I mean, he's in year 9. He's getting kind of old. But he definitely can probably get you a third or a second and a sixth or second and a seventh. You ain't getting nothing besides that top pick and some late round fodder to try to, I don't even know what you try to do with it. You just get some kind of plug piece when someone else gets injured. But you got to think about these small things. I mean, they got Calais Campbell. I'm just reading up their roster right now. It is nothing beautiful about it. There's a lot of pieces that need to be done. They got a tight end. I mean, I guess I think that would be, I guess, something they need to look into. Is you have the immediate path of being a decent team. Offensive line rating, they're middle of the pack. So you're not bottom tier. You're not horrible. So there's something there. One of the things they say for getting a young quarterback is to give him a good tight end, and they'll that's their little outlet. That's their go-to. It helps a young quarterback move, and they got a good tight end. Okay, we got a good tight end. We're supposedly having a really good wide receiver. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer's son, but we don't know how good he is. We don't know how good he is. I mean, he's been getting Kyler Murray, and he's had splashes, but never complete effectiveness. So, in theory, there's a beautiful path to bring in a young quarterback. Maybe that's why Brissett looks so good. Or sorry, not Brissett. Was it Brissett? Yeah, Brissett looked so good for a few games he was. Don't get it wrong either. He also got blown out multiple times where he didn't score many points. But I think that might be more of a defensive problem. This defense is pretty cheeks. So maybe you do right by like a Buda Baker. Go get him to give a pick. Or, maybe you want Mendoza. Put Buda Baker and whatever else you can and try to trade for that first overall. I talked the Raiders out of it, like I said last time. Your O-line is bad. It's bad. Like, you're just going to get him murdered. At least the Cardinals will only put him in a sling, He might hurt his arm or something by the end of the year, but he ain't going to be dead. He ain't going to be dead like he was on the Raiders.
I don't know. You got the Seahawks defense, what a Super Bowl. You got that Rams young D-line, and you got a full, healthy Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. I mean, that's not a good division for him either.
I don't think it's that much of an issue. For San Francisco, mind you, San Francisco doesn't keep their roster ever. Like, I'm not trying to shit on San Francisco. Maybe they should move away from their practice facility from where it is, but we gotta just put it where it is. San Francisco every single year always is missing half their roster by week 10. Okay? So I guess your one matchup against the 49ers, you just got to figure out how to beat their backups. Okay? You ain't beating Bosa 17 games a year. He ain't even going to play 17. He can't. Everyone gets injured on that 49ers team. So don't get me started about the 49ers. Until they figure out how to not get the total injury haul every year, we ain't going to be bothered about them. The Seattle thing, Seattle can only go down from here. Like, there's no way you're going to pay all of that roster. A lot of that roster is going to be money hungry because you just won a title. And the first thing that's going to get nabbed from you is pretty much your defense because that was the most effective part. And, they're probably going to overpay certain pieces on the offense. Because, they did put up enough points. And, you got to pay your offensive guys, and that's why your defensive guys feel a little neglected. So I feel like there's a path for the Cardinals. The Seahawks are only going to go down. As long as Sean McVay is there, the Rams are probably going to be a problem. As long as Kyle Shanahan's there, the 49ers are going to be a minor problem. They have to figure out their injury problem in order to be a real problem.
Okay, interesting points made by Lawrence here. Hey, I think the Cardinals, like both of you guys are saying, have a lot of retooling, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, and to do this offseason. And it starts with moving off of Kyler, getting what you can, and I wouldn't mind them selling off some pieces. I think, Buda Baker's probably the second guy you go towards selling after you figure out what you're going to do with Kyler. But I remember before the season, Lawrence, we were both kind of high on the Cardinals. We thought this might be their season, but it did not turn out that way at all.
Well, that was because Kyler was supposed to be in a contract year, and he was supposed to do something to get some money, but Call of Duty was more important.
He couldn't help but play some Black Ops 7, I see.
I think next interesting. Hold on, something that's it could be nothing. I'm just looking at like the worst teams in the league. So with the Cardinals, like I think Lawrence mentioned, like great. I mean, McBride. I forgot about him when I said they had no good players. McBride's a beast. Like I'd say he's probably a top 3 tight end, maybe top 4. But like he's amazing. Think about who else is a top tight end that's young and in a very similar situation. Brock Bowers. Another team that's just terrible, worst team in the league. I mean, there's 4 teams that had 3 wins, and 2 of them have amazing young tight ends. And I'm like, how strange is that? It's it could be nothing, but also like Bowers and McBride are both very unique in a situation where it's like, man, I'd love to quarterback that team. They got a quarterback's best friend. Like McBride had over 100 catches. Brock Bowers, when healthy, is amazing. But yet they're both so bad O-lines, not a lot of help at quarterback. So, that's interesting. I was just looking at that and I thought that. And I was like, I don't know how likely that is for 2 of those guys that are probably 2 of the best at the position to both be on the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, they find themselves in bad spots, but typically the best players go to the worst teams. So I feel bad for them.
It's just interesting that it's just these tight ends, because even you could even say the same thing about Warren. Warren was, outside of Loveland this year, was probably the best tight ends in the league for rookies.
Yep.
And
True.
the second half of the season, the Colts were bad. They were bad.
Yeah, that Fannin kid was good in Cleveland.
Fannin from Cleveland, he was a top 3 tight end as a rookie too. So it's a little puzzling, the trend on these tight ends on all these bad teams. Something we got to look into. But we got to look into the 49ers next. 12-5, had a chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, have all the games, all the remaining games to be at Levi Stadium, but understandably so, with all the injuries, kind of left them in the dust. Lawrence, I'll start with you first on this one. How would you grade the 49ers season, and what should they do this offseason to kind of get back into the mix?
I'm going to go rogue, and I'm honestly going to give their season an A because they made the playoffs and had a playoff win against the Eagles with the fact that they had no players. You're telling me this team made the playoffs, then beat the returning Super Bowl champions. Mind you, there was a lot of red flags about the Eagles. We constantly had said it. There was a lot of red flags about them. A lot. Honestly, dude, Kyle Shanahan, get yourself a new contract somewhere else, man. You're too good of a coach to be punished by that San Francisco curse. He truly, really is. Like, I don't know. Maybe he jumped the gun by, like, shipping off Jimmy G after going to a Super Bowl, and, maybe he has, like, karma to pay for it. But, like, something's got to give, I would say, in Kyle Shanahan's mind, because season after season, he puts fabulous game plans into motion for each team he goes up against. Yeah, I feel like he's always, I would say, let down by the fact that, oh man, instead of being the edge rusher Bosa, I got some guy that I picked up off the street 2 weeks ago right now. Because my other starter, who's my second backup, he needs some rest time. Oh man, you got to be feeling for the man. I don't know. I would say the 49ers, there really isn't a whole lot you have to do to the team. Like, you just had to figure out a way to make these people not be injured every single season. And I don't know how. And then next year, you got to think about it, the curse, right? McCaffrey had a good season this year. That means McCaffrey might not be good next year. So how are you going to win all those games next year when you know the curse of your team being injured and McCaffrey was healthy all season? Something's got to give. McCaffrey might be going down. McCaffrey might have to sacrifice his soul so that Bosa and Trent Williams can finish the season.
Jacob, do you share the same grade for the 49ers season, or are you going to...
Yeah, it was so funny. That's why it caught me off guard. It was a genuine, heartfelt laugh because I did not see that coming. I completely agree. That's why it caught me off guard, because I was going to say it was an A+. Well, maybe not A+. Probably give you like an A, because it is. You look at how the season started. I think it was week 2 or 3, and Nick Bosa, ACL, gone for the year. A couple weeks after, Fred Warner out for the year. I mean, they got absolutely decimated. And Brock Purdy missed time. I was looking earlier today. The number 1 quarterback free agent is Malik Willis. I think all of us probably have like an okay understanding of Malik Willis. Like, he's okay. Like, he's going to be a starter for a team that needs a new quarterback. Like, that's exciting. Mac Jones started more games this season for the 49ers than Malik Willis has ever started in his career. And Malik Willis only started 6 ball games in his 3 or 4 years, and Mac Jones started 8 this year. So the thing that I think San Fran needs to do, and I've seen that they're not trying to trade Mac Jones, sorry. They look the exact same to me, sorry. So Mac Jones, think about Sam Darnold last year, or not last year, 2 years ago when he stopped in San Francisco before he went on to Minnesota. He went from being a backup to Brock Purdy to being a really good quarterback again, and then a Super Bowl champion quarterback. So if I'm a team, respectfully, I like Malik Willis, a good athlete, I would love to trade for Mac Jones if I'm the Jets, or if I'm, one of the Cardinals, one of these teams that desperately needs a new option at quarterback, and I don't want to give, Jacoby Brissett a chance to be a starter, even though he was okay. He's just not going to win you a game, on his back, So I really think San Francisco can get a lot of draft capital if they said, you know what, act like we're not going to trade Mac Jones and just open it up because he got a 2-year deal. And if I was a team and he was coming off of a very successful 8 games in which, Kyle Shanahan just has that magic touch with quarterbacks, shoot, man, I could see a team like the Jets. The Jets have a lot of draft capital. I could see them sending a 2nd-round pick or something, egregiously high for a guy like Mac Jones. I think that their off-season outlook, obviously, I think Lawrence said it really well. Like, they got to be healthy. I mean, this is one of those rosters. It seems every single year that if you put them on paper with all the other rosters, like, they got a lot of good players and a lot of, a big chance to actually go far. It just so happens that when the most important games are played, they're without, a handful of those stars. And, some years it's all of those stars. I mean, there was a playoff game in which they had Josh Johnson playing, and then he got hurt, so they had to put Purdy out, who had already been hurt. So, they're in a very weird spot injury-wise, and I agree. I don't know if it's that, plant they have right next to the practice facility or if it's just unluck. I mean, as funny as that theory is, like, it could just be luck, man. Like, sometimes your team just gets bit really bad, and other times, I mean, look at the Seahawks this year. The Seahawks, for the most part, like we said, they were pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So, like, I definitely think there's some luck to it. But, yeah, San Francisco's in a spot where you got a coach, you got a good GM. They paid Purdy, and he kind of proved this year that when he did kind of come back healthy, like, Purdy's he can be the man. He can also not be the man. But in terms of paying him what they did, I think that was kind of justified through his play this year. I do agree also about the McCaffrey thing because, yeah, as a Christian McCaffrey fantasy owner this past year, the sole reason why I trusted enough to take him 1st round, 7th overall was because he was hurt and didn't play the year before. So I will not be selecting him in the 1st round of this coming year because I've done that on an off year. So I do think that could be a problem. Obviously, they are going to move off of Brandon Ayuk as well, which could be interesting to a Bills fan or to other fans of teams that need wide receivers because when healthy, he's a beast. I don't know what the deal is there. I know he hates San Francisco now. I know he was posting stuff on the internet and he just hates them all of a sudden after they paid him, which usually doesn't work like that. So look for them to move off of him. But, I mean, for the most part, guys like Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, even though they both battled with injuries, like, I think they have enough in the foreplay with Kittle and with McCaffrey, if he's healthy, to make a run next year if they get those important names back on defense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go A as well. I think considering the circumstances, they outperformed, and I gotta give Kyle Shanahan a ton of credit here. He's a fantastic coach, definitely top 5 coach in NFL. Definitely got some competition in the NFC West, so I feel like if they have a healthy roster and have guys that actually want to be there, aka get rid of Brandon Ayuk and maybe spend that money elsewhere, then they'll have a good chance to compete next year. I think Nick Bosa, one of the highest paid players in the NFL, he has to play. Like, you can't keep having these years of him getting hurt and not being able to play a lot of games. So you got to get your highest paid players out there and play. So I think that's their biggest thing.
Jones. He only has a $3.2 million cap hit for whoever team.
Yeah, that's attractive. That's so attractive.
You get a 27-year-old quarterback with 5-year experience from Alabama on a
former 1st rounder too.
$3.2 million. That's pretty good. You can pretty much
what does that say?
Buy him anything you want too. You can go to the 49ers. Did you pay attention to the 49ers games? Was it like Boye? That's who he used to throw to. Or sorry, Kendrick Bourne. Sorry, Kendrick. Yeah. He used to throw the ball to Bourne all the time. And at the beginning of the season, when Mac was playing, you would bet on Bourne on receiving yards. And then if Purdy was playing, you wouldn't bet on Bourne's receiving yards because, well, Purdy doesn't throw it to Bourne. Bourne was only as good as he was because he was Mac Jones' teammate at the Patriots, and he really knew how to get the ball to Bourne really well.
Well, also, too, like we talked about in the AFC South one, when Mac Jones was playing for Jacksonville last year when Trevor was hurt, he and Brian Thomas Jr. went off. It wasn't Trevor and BTJ. And then this past season, when it was Trevor all season, BTJ had a terrible sophomore year. So, like, maybe Mac Jones just actually is good. But also, I would say, too, because it's a one-year deal, if you have him for next season, he's going to be playing with motive because he's going to want to get paid $40 million a year. Yep. So if you were to trade for him, you would be the team that could just re-sign him if he balls out.
Yeah, and then Kendrick Bourne's a free agent, so you can get him on a veteran minimum. So you can have a guaranteed automatic Mac Jones going to give you 8 catches a game, wide receiver talent.
I like it.
Hey, I like it. I like it.
The Jets could do worse. The Jets could do a lot worse.
I mean, they did worse. They got that one guy from the Colts, the receiver, who dropped all those balls game after game. What was that guy's
Oh,
name?
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah,
He
Mitchell.
was decent with the Jets at the end of last year.
Yeah, at the end, but like
He
once he
did
got
drop that
traded,
ball at the end zone, though.
yeah, he learned to stop dropping
It
as
was
much. But I think he's going to need a few years.
Yep, it was all downhill for him. All downhill from him for once he got traded. But for the Rams, it's only but up. I think Matthew Stafford, considering he's coming back next year, I think the outlook is looking way better than the opposite if Matthew decided to step away after winning MVP. But yeah, they had a great season. Really didn't deal with injuries. Puka, cemented himself probably top 5, if not top 3 receiver. You got Devontae, bounce back year. Just a lot of things going right with the Rams besides making it to the Super Bowl. So, Jacob, start with you this time. How would you grade the Rams season, and what's their outlook this offseason?
I definitely think it was an A. It could have been an A+ had they beaten the Seahawks and got the Super Bowl. Like you said, I mean, I think this year is going to be one of those bring the band back together as much as possible. Obviously, like you said, Stafford's coming back. You're going to have Devontae, you're going to have Kyron, you're going to have Corum. Devontae had such a good year from the 1-yard line. I mean, red zone threat. Puka, probably not the best wide receiver in the league, but like you said, I mean, he's right up there, and he is such a different receiver than J-Jets and Chase are, that like he is just so fun to watch. I mean, he makes incredible catches every single week, and the defense is good, man. I think Jared Verse didn't have as a big of a second season as I initially expected, but the defense is good. I think they need secondary help. My boss is a Rams fan, and he said that's the number one thing that they need. But lucky for them, they have 2 first-round picks because the Atlanta Falcons traded a first-round pick last year at the draft.
Yeah.
To get a guy that may probably never play again. So the Rams are going to have a pick, I think, right around 13 and a pick, in the 20s. So
yeah,
the Rams kind of have an embarrassment of riches. I mean, they're a team that's done really well in hitting on their draft picks, both in the first round and later rounds. So I think if the Rams can keep it going, I mean, I hate saying it because I don't like it when my teams are, and the Bills have been for the last couple of years. But the Rams are like the true definition of like Super Bowl or bust. Because like if they go into next year, they don't win the Super Bowl, like it's kind of disappointment. It's Matt Stafford's, he's getting to the end of his career. You got all this talent, you got the coach. It's all on the table for the Rams, and everybody in the league knows how good they can be. Obviously, they got to stay healthy, but good season this year. I think the only thing preventing him an A+ is he got to win the last 2 games of the season, and but they'll get another chance next year to do it with the same crew.
Yeah, agreed. So they got pick 29 and pick 13, from the Falcons for they moved up to get Pierce. But Pierce is probably not going to play another down, at least for a very long period of time. So that's where they stand as far as draft, but also cap space. They are pretty decent on cap space, 44 million, 36 basically effective cap space, assuming they keep all their draft people that guys that they draft. So Lawrence, what is your outlook for the Rams, and do you agree with a grading?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with an A. They had the MVP on their team for a reason. They obviously had the ability to make it to the big dance. You just couldn't make it past the team that won the big dance. How do I really break it down? If this team does not just go outside of O-line, so their whole entire offseason focus should just be purity, all offensive line. I don't want more than 2 sacks a game for Stafford. There has to be a head count. And then if you allow more than 2 sacks yourself personally in one game, you're getting benched, bro. We ain't gonna have our 38-year-old stud. I can't call him a stud. He's too old. I can't have a 38-year-old wizard going out there and just getting pummeled into the dirt. So what do you do for that situation? Your O-line is decent. You're never gonna go out here and say the Rams O-line is the bee's knees. It's decent. It's not great. It's not bad. Make it the best you
Well,
can.
it says Pro Football Network has them graded as the number 1 offensive line, Lawrence.
Pretty good.
I don't know how you could rate their line as number 1. I feel like there's just multiple teams with better lines. You can say Pro Football Focus. I don't think they're the one, but
Steelers 3 is crazy though. I will say.
Get more line. I want Stafford never to be touched. I don't want him to ever be hurt. You got the wide receiver talent. You got he makes it work with the tight end talent he's got, and then cornerbacks. For the love of God, if Forbes is playing next season for the Rams, they failed. They absolutely failed. If that man is even on the team as a starter or first backup coming off the bench, no. You failed. You failed your season. Your draft stock, you should be getting the number 1 cornerback rookie you can. Like first round, second round, whatever you got to do. You got to bring some young corner talent in there. They got a bunch of decent corners, but they're all kind of lackluster and old. Let's just say it like that. There's no like boom, like to scare you on the defensive side in the secondary. All their scariness comes from that defensive line. Like the ability to get to the quarterback. That's what the Rams do well at. And they've done that well all the time that McVay's been there. They've had good secondaries periodically, but I will say that is probably what I thought was probably one of their biggest weaknesses, other than special teams. But I think, didn't they fire their special teams coordinator?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. So that's not something that we're talking about. Maybe they didn't have punter problems because they had that kicker problems because they had Mevis. They had the thicker kicker. He didn't do anything wrong for him, so that's not your problem. Your problem is the fact that your corners can't, I would say, allow Stafford to keep you in a game. Because I just remember from the Panthers game in particular, the Panthers are technically, I wouldn't say technically, they were a 10-point underdog in both those games, and yet they won once and they lost by 4 points at the very end of the game. Your team is a 10-point favorite. The reason why you're winning those games is because your offense is so good. They beat the Panthers a second time in the playoffs, but you didn't beat the spread. And the spread says something about your defense. And the problem with your defense is it doesn't really matter if Stafford gets you a lead. Those cornerbacks should just go out there and blow it right after it. Because if the D-line's not getting there, corner's just going to immediately blow it. I mean, they allowed the Panthers in multiple games to have long touchdown runs in man coverage. Obviously, your guys are not good enough to do man coverage, and sometimes you gotta, you have to change the play call on the defensive side a little bit. We gotta run man a little bit. They gotta respect us. Yeah, they respect the hell of you when they got a touchdown. Get some better corners.
Well, I do think one of these first round picks is going to be on the corner for sure. I think offensive line, I feel like they're pretty good. I feel like one improvement area is probably tight end. Like you said, Lawrence, Stafford can make do with tight ends that they have, but if you give him either a tight end or certified number 3 receiver, I feel like that'll just boost the offense that much more. So that's where I see them kind of devoting their off season is fixing the secondary and probably get a reliable third option, because I feel like once you take Puka and Devontae's in and out with injuries, he's getting up there in age, so a certified third target I think is what they need, in my opinion.
I feel like that's a good point, and I don't disagree with you at all. I feel like I just want to point out the embarrassment of riches that is the LA Rams. The fact that we can go on here and be like, they just need like a third weapon, like get some corners and a third weapon. Whereas like the Cardinals, it's like get a new roster. Like they're so bad, they need 48 new players. So the Rams, if you get a third option, like that'll help a little bit. I also want to say, like, to the defense's point, the game against Seattle, I don't remember if it wasn't the playoff game, I don't think. It might have been like the last game of the season or one of those games. The Seahawks scored in overtime, or the Rams scored first in overtime, had a chance to win it, and the Rams defense let Seattle go all the way down the field in overtime, score a touchdown, and get the 2 to win the game. So it's like the Rams defense, like you said, Lawrence, like Stafford's putting up the points, and the only games they lost were the games that the defense really didn't help them out at all either.
Just got to play some complimentary football, and they would have probably squeezed out another win or two. But like you said, they got tons of draft capital, maybe they can make a big splash. Who knows?
I'm consistently seeing them ranked for their O-line between 6 and 12, which is, completely respectable. That's pretty good for your O-line. Let's be number one. We got Stafford.
Yeah. I think it's definitely obtainable, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Seahawks, Super Bowl champs. Tons of cap space. Got a pretty decent amount of free agents as well. Definitely, this might be a bring the gang back if possible scenario. A lot of young guys. I really don't think they have any like vet players besides if you want to count Sam Darnold, even though he's still in his late 20s as the most veteran player. But he's locked up. Maybe they'll give him a new contract. But I guess DeMarcus Lawrence, he's pretty up there in age too. But Jacob, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously A+ season for the Seahawks, but what should they do in terms of offseason to kind of put themselves back in the same spot?
Yeah, A+, Super Bowl champions, congratulations, yada yada. It was actually funny. I don't want to shit on them right after congratulating them, but I will because I was actually working the other day. It was a Saturday, so I was like, let my mind wander, and I was thinking about football, and I was like, oh shit, the Seahawks are the champions. Like it still doesn't feel right. Like I watched the game, I watched the season. The Seahawks were the Super Bowl champions, and they always will be. But like it still doesn't resonate. Like it was a random poll. So like. Good for them. Great season. Kenny Walker's gone. I think they're going to be priced out. I think he's going to ask for double-digit money, 10 plus a year, and I don't think they're going to do that just because they have Charbonnet. And they've generally been pretty decent at kind of developing and having decent running backs. So I don't see Kenny Walker coming back. I know they have some defensive guys that they want to get back, and I saw today that Jackson Smith and Jigba basically said that he wants an extension and he's going to be the highest paid wide receiver. But what he did say that I thought was interesting was that he doesn't mind if it's not right now. He's basically like, yeah, I'm not like worried about it, but when I do get paid, I'm going to be the highest paid wide receiver. And I'm the biggest JSN fan there is. And I think based on how the defensive end market went last year with Myles Garrett basically being like, yeah, I want to trade. And then TJ Watt signed in for 34. Daniil Hunter, I think went for 33.
Yep.
And Myles Garrett eventually signed for 40. And then Mike Parsons was just chilling there the whole time. And then the extension came up. Obviously, it wasn't with the Cowboys, it was with the Packers. $47 million. So, like, you see how, same with Chase, like, you see how some position groups, like, when guys are due to get paid, they kind of battle each other. And it's just like, okay, the highest paid is now 32. Well, then you got to pay Watt 33. Then you got to pay Garrett 40. Then you got to pay Parsons 47. And it's like, if I was the Seahawks, I would be so smart to just call up JSN. Yo, what's the number? You want to be the number one? All right, Chase is at 40.1 or whatever. Here's 42 a year. You're the highest paid wide receiver right now. Congratulations. So that by the time we get to the fall and it's September, that number's not at 45, 47, 50. Like JSN needs to be a Seahawk for a long, long time. I mean, he put up 1,800 yards and 10 tuds this year. So if I was the Seahawks, the number one thing I would do is keep the quarterback happy. If he wants a new deal, give him a little bit more money and keep his number one target happy. Because JSN is one of those dudes in this league that's ascending very, very quickly. And if he doesn't get his money quick, it's going to end up being a lot higher than what he's asking for now.
Okay, fair enough. Lawrence, do you agree? Does JSN deserve to be highest paid receiver? And in terms of the rest of the team, how does it look this offseason?
Yeah, they need to get on it right now, like Jacob said. He's not even the highest paid receiver on his team. Cooper Kupp makes more money than him right now, and that can't sit well for him. I get it. Cooper Kupp's multiple time Super Bowl champion, but it's kind of at the end of his career, and he's making more money than me. That can't work. But yeah, I would try to pay him immediately because, let's face it, you pay him immediately now. You should probably try to backlog his money because if you pay attention, I'm on the Seahawks cap space website for their contracts. In their 2027 season, they have almost nobody on contract. So they don't have far-reaching contracts. Everything they have is almost year to year. There's not a whole lot of longevity to this team. I mean, on 2027, their top guys is Sam Darnold, Leonard Williams, Cooper Kupp, Julian Love, DeMarcus Lawrence, Ernest Jones. and it's a complete quick fall off. Everyone else is just making $1 million a year. It's just the few guys they have left. So yeah, you probably want to pay that guy now before you start having all these contract problems, because you don't want to be having contract problems with your number one wide receiver and aka your probable future, and then just let him walk because you couldn't pay him, or you franchise tag him, make that mistake, and then he walks because I ain't gonna take that disrespect. I'm JSN, as he should, as he should. But yeah, if you look a little bit deeper in 2027, this team has like nobody on contract, and I don't think that's really good. I mean, honestly, they got a lot of young guys that are going to try to get paid from this Super Bowl win, aka like we'll just say like for instance, Devin Winterspoon. That man, this is his final season on his contract. He's going to want some money. Let's see, Jason Myers, this is his final year on his contract. He's a damn good kicker. He's probably going to want some money. He's probably going to leave to go get some money. Byron Murphy, he's going to leave. He's going to want money. They don't have him on the contract for 2027. They don't have a lot of guys on the contract for 2027. So they got a lot of restructuring to do. They got a lot of things they got to do. We're just going to keep it a buck. They got a lot. But hey, they won a title.
Hey, they got a title. Yeah. 100%.
You gotta be smart. Be smart. Who you pay, who don't you pay?
Yeah, I agree. Unless Kenneth Walker takes a slight pay cut, maybe an $8 million range, like Javonte Williams just got from the Cowboys, then I don't really see him coming back. But yeah, I think JSN deserves to get paid. Maybe, I don't know if highest paid is what I would do, but definitely put him in the top 3, 4.
My only problem with them thinking they can keep Walker at all is in big games last year, they literally subbed him out at the goal line packages to give Charbonnet touchdowns. Like, and
they've been doing that for years, though.
I know they've been doing it for a year, but how much do you think that probably ticks him off? Like deep down, like I'm not saying that he's like a stats guy, but in a way, all these guys, their longevity, their career will be judged based on their stats, and he has a very high deficiency in touchdown efficiencies because he doesn't get the chance because they're subbing him out. He's gonna want to go to a team that has like no, starter, like no. Oh yeah, he's their ball hog, or he's our workhorse. He probably wants to be a workhorse and get those touchdowns instead of having them stolen. And there's a lot of teams I think that will pay for Kenneth Walker to try to put them over the edge. Like I could see like kind of like what the Packers did a few years ago when they went out and got Jacobs. I kind of fully see a team buying into that strat too. Like Jacobs was just on the Raiders, just wasting his days away. Now Walker, he didn't waste his days. His days were not wasted. But now he's got to, I would say, he's got to make the stats match his resume, I guess we would say. He's got to get those touchdowns up.
Well, I think for any runner. Go ahead, Jacob.
My bad. I looked because I was curious. I'm going to let y'all guess. So Zach Charbonnet has 20 touchdowns this year and last year. How many do you think Kenny Walker has?
20 in total. So he has 20 in total. He has half of them.
Charbonnet has 20. Yeah, Charbonnet has 20. What do you think Kenny has?
13.
I'll go 16.
You got 12. Kenny Walker's got 12 touchdowns last 2 years.
Yeah,
Charbonnet 20. So good point. No, I agree. That's I get it because they're not. You don't have to be the stat guy. Like you don't have to be like a jerk to be like, I don't know. I like running touchdowns. I kind of got us all the way down here, and then you went and gave my touchdown to somebody else. Like I kind of want a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I get that. My only point is, or rebuttal is, I think for running backs, just making it to your second contract is probably an accomplishment by himself. So I think as long as someone pays him, even the Seahawks, like I said, if the Seahawks pay him $8 million, I think he takes it, But if the Seahawks, if he wants more than that, then yeah, he's going to.
Yeah, but what happens when the Kansas City Chiefs offer him $10 million because they're desperate, and they're literally just pieces away from a Super Bowl run again?
I think they're going to overpay for Breece Hall, but that's another conversation.
Ooh. Yeah, I did forget Kenneth Walker is competing with Breece Hall. Oh yeah, you right.
Yeah.
I think they drafted Jeremiah Love personally.
Yeah, if he falls to them, yeah, they pick him. But if he gets picked up before, then yeah, they'll probably try to overpay for Brees Hall. Because
That's why I
they
love
tried to
free
trade for
agency.
him, and then the Jets said no. So I
Yeah,
feel like there's
yeah.
still some interest there.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is going to be in need of a running back because it says that Gainwell is leaving, and I don't think you can
Yep.
run it with just Warren.
No, they tried that, and no, he's not good enough.
They'll probably pick up like Miles Sanders, the Steelers.
Not that bomb.
Maybe Dawdle. Maybe if Panthers don't pay
Ooh,
Rico.
I like that.
I don't think
that's interesting.
I actually don't. So I'll quickly hit on that. I don't think they're going to pay Rico at all. I think their main plan in the future is that young. God, what's his name? He barely played.
Brooks.
Their goal is that Brooks will pan out, and
He's leaving. Dowdle's leaving for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to pay him.
Makes sense. I didn't believe so either. After you already paid Chuba, it doesn't make sense to pay Dawdle as well. So he's gonna be in that top tier of free agent running backs for sure.
Yeah, there's plenty
It's
of
a
them
decent
this
year for running backs.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Now you got to wonder: is it going to be hard for them all to get paid now? Because one of them has to start the market at some point. They have to start the market.
Javonte just did.
Javonte just did for $8 million,
and I like it. I like where the market's at for running backs. I think that number makes sense for the Cowboys. It makes sense for Javonte. Like that's a decent contract.
Yeah, I think the floor for running backs, if you're a starter, is probably $8 million now.
Yep. But like, how much does Brees get? Does Brees get like 12, 13, 14? Like, actually, no, not 13. James Cook's making 13. He probably gets like 11, 12, maybe.
There's gonna be a bidding war, I think, between the Jets wanting to keep his services and then the other teams. Yeah, there's gonna be a bidding war. He might get overpaid. That's my thought.
He's good though. I mean, he's just been on the Jets, so
yeah.
We'll see.
Definitely not an ideal spot to be at, but what is ideal is Strickland got a dub after being he was on what? Hey, the man was on a losing streak. He had to win, right? He had to get a dub here. Do you guys want to take over? I did watch most of the main card, and there were some TKOs. I will say the spinning back kick, Ige getting knocked out. That was awesome.
It was sad. I'm not gonna lie. My heart dropped for Ige. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I also think too, because during the actual process, I thought it was an early stoppage because he definitely seemed to be defending the ground strikes, and then you see the replay and you see this man's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Boy's eyes were rolled all the way back. I love Dan Ige. He changed his name. It's Dan 100K Ige now. Decent, but yeah, man, that Melky, I think it's Melchizedek Costa. He's a problem. He's a problem because he's been finishing dudes, and he just knocked out a dude that's never, ever been knocked out. So I was impressed.
Yeah, Jacoby Smith knocked Josiah out. The ref had to throw him off. That was I don't think I've seen that in a while in the UFC.
Yeah, I don't think I'd seen that. And the guy he fought apparently had like a brain tumor, brain cancer. They were doing a whole segment on it before, and it was just like, inspiring. Like, you survived through that, and then you decided to do mixed martial arts. You're in the UFC, buddy. Like, maybe respectfully, pick a different career. Like, I don't want to see the guy with brain damage getting beat up and knocked out. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know he was 11-0 or whatever, but like, it might be time for a new career.
Or just go to like jiu-jitsu so you can never get punched in the face.
Yeah, just roll.
Something else.
Just roll. Be a coach. Heavyweights. I don't know if you guys saw the heavyweight fight. I seriously think it's time to start talking about putting the heavyweights back on steroids. Because back in the day when you had, Overeem and Brock Lesnar, these dudes looked like heavyweights. Now these dudes, respectfully, are fat and slow. And like, I bet on Delia to get a knockout, and he literally had him on the ropes, threw 4 punches, and then had to clinch because he was tired. And it's like, buddy, you're the ninth best hot heavyweight in the entire world, and you're telling me that you're getting tired after throwing 5 punches. Like, respectfully, I can't have that anymore. Like, heavyweight MMA and the UFC is so bad. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know. Roy Nelson used to be fat, and he could put together a combination better than some of these guys. So I don't know if
The
it's
boys
about
don't
the
got
weight.
cardio.
They don't have any cardio. Even Roy Nelson had better cardio than those guys, and that man had a whole
Yeah.
beer gut.
Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, I kind of agree with them. Every single heavyweight fight is either it's super awesome because they get knocked out by the end of the first round, or you're disappointed because they're literally gasping at air fighting each other at the end of the fight in the third round. And then you know that your knockout bet because you bet that the fight wouldn't go the distance because of heavyweight. And they already put the odds at such horrible, horrible odds in your favor anyways. Like, oh yeah, heavyweights, automatic minus 250. Because they ain't going to make it. And then now they're making it because by the second round, they can't punch anymore because they're tired.
It's a problem. I don't like it. I don't know what changed, but I don't like it.
They allowed it to be, you could be any, I think there should be a weight limit at some point. Like, isn't it you could be any weight over 265 or something like that?
It's 225 to 265.
Oh, so they forced him to stop at, I don't know, Roy Nelson definitely.
265 is the heaviest.
Yeah,
that's how it is now.
Oh, yeah, Roy Nelson definitely wasn't 265 back in the day. I don't know. Let them get fatter then? I don't know, like 300s? Then they can get some big boys that can just knock them out. I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. It is kind of getting disappointing that we're getting more bantamweight finishes and heavyweight finishes.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, especially now that we're in the Paramount era, I think the UFC is in a really big let's grow the sport thing. And I don't know where this research comes from because I know it's true, but I don't have any like data points. The heavyweights are a draw just because they're the heavyweights. People like seeing bigger people going at it in a physical combat. I mean, it just kind of is how it is. I mean, like, I like bantamweights and flyweights, but like to an average fan, like it's a lot more exciting when 250-pound guys are fighting rather than 125-pound guys are fighting, because you know the threat level is there. It's a lot higher when this guy is massive and he's got huge arms, and if he throws the right hook at the right time, that guy's going down like a sack of potatoes. But for whatever reason, I mean, these heavyweights nowadays they're either just so out of shape or they maybe have better chins, so they're not getting knocked out. Like, I don't know what it is, but I mean, these are two ranked heavyweights. I mean, these are supposed to be like, it's not just a prelim card of just two, lazy heavyweights that are both out of shape. It's like these are two top 10 guys in an already bad division, kind of just proving how bad this division is, where it's just like, I wouldn't pay to watch either of these guys fight. And honestly, I'm kind of pissed off that I sat at a bar and watched them fight, because it was a waste of my time, because it was just like two slobs just going all at it. It's like, I don't need to see you guys do that. I'd rather see some aggression and some violence, but I don't know. And then, so yeah, that was the heavyweight fight. And then 145-pound men, he had a spinning knockout to the face. That was a knockout. But, it's like, that shouldn't be the case, but it is. So congratulations to Costa. That was impressive. I think we all picked Dan Ige because he's the man. So unfortunately, or fortunately for Dan Ige, it was not nearly as bad as my boy, the perennial ranked gatekeeper of the welterweight division. Jeff Neal got absolutely blasted. Man, you know what? Shout out to Medic, because that was an insane knockout. But boy, they spent a lot of time talking about how good Jeff Neal's camp was and how different he's going to be and how his life outside of fighting has gotten better. And boy, it took a minute and 19 seconds for him to be flat on his back. And yeah, that was a brutal one for Jeff Neal.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. Homeboy, he got knocked the fuck out, and he could not even get back to upright position. He was slumped.
They always tell you the champ comes at some point, and his might have just been discovered. Because I don't know, if he walks back out there again and gets knocked out in less than a round, it might be time to just call it. You had a nice career. No one's gonna scoff at you.
He's getting close. He's probably, like you said, he's probably one knockout away from being ready to pack him up and put the gloves down. And then, man, what a main event. What a build-up to the main event.
You know, I did say Strickland was going to win. I had some weird gut feeling. I don't know. And then it was after he said all those things at the presser, I think we all agreed. Man had to go out there and give us something good. He couldn't go out there and give us nothing good.
Yeah, he certainly said a lot, and he certainly fought extremely well. I mean, even in the first 2 rounds, I was thinking like he was painting a masterclass. Like I was talking to my buddy, and he was saying that he thought the Volk versus Diego fight was boring, and I was like, you know what, I disagree. And like, yes, Volk dominated, but like I watched it as like Volk put on he was painting, like he was just painting a masterclass through 5 rounds against Diego. And through the first 2 rounds, I was thinking that about Strickland. I was like, man, he's just landing. He's doing what we know he does. He's just landing the jab. He's being first. He's not getting hit. Like he's staying safe. His footwork. And he was just so technical. And then that knee up the middle, that body knee in that 3rd round, absolutely sent Fluffy. I mean, how can you blame him? He has cardio, but like getting kneed like that. I mean, he was absolutely on skates after. And Sean Strickland, the rare finish.
Yeah.
In the 3rd round, and he called for a title shot right after.
Does he get the title shot, or does he have to fight somebody else, or
who's
next in line?
I kind of feel like it's hard to ask him to fight someone else to get a title shot, because isn't Sean Strickland like 2nd in the division?
He's number 3, but I think he does get the title shot because the 2 guys that are talking about for the title is Chimaev, the champion, and Imanov. And Strickland's already beaten Imanov. So it's like everybody knows if Imanov fought Chimaev would just beat him. So it's like, why would you waste Sean Strickland, who's just fresh off like a top 5 win? Like you could just put him in there right after finishing up number 4, Fluffy Hernandez. So I don't know. I feel like Strickland's definitely got a case. He's definitely speaking for it, calling him the choice words that he has. So I don't know. I mean, I could see them just rolling with what they already had in place, but Strickland definitely had a lot of clicks this week. Got the UFC a lot of attention. I know the UFC loves that, whether it's good or bad. And I don't know. I could easily see, because I got to think, Strickland's last 3 fights were won the title, lost the title very closely. I didn't think I lost, but I did lose. And then rematch, and I lost that one pretty definitively. So like his last 3 fights have been title fights, and he just beat like the hottest guy on the longest, winning streak. So like you can make the argument that it was so impressive that you can just toss him right back in there against a new, different champion, one he hasn't fought yet, and see if he can get that belt back.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie to you, in no way, shape, or form do I want to watch a Frenchman try to fight for a title and lose. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater, but the French always seem to lose.
Yeah, against Chimaev, like, yeah. And I think Chimaev beat Strickland. I do, but like I'd still rather see that than Imanov.
Yeah,
I got no opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I'm agreeing. I don't know who else Strickland has to go through, especially when Strickland doesn't win by knockouts. Strickland is notorious for beat 'em up decision kind of guy, and he knocked him out. He did his old Adesanya. Didn't he knock out Adesanya? He knocked out Adesanya, right?
No, he took him to a decision. He knocked him down in the first round, and then they went the distance.
Oh yeah, I just remember he pieced him up a bunch. Anywho,
yeah, he did.
I mean, I don't know. Isn't Duplessis probably going to be gone for a while too? Because didn't he just get his nose fixed? I thought.
Yes.
Yeah, so he can finally breathe correctly. So he's going to have to miss like some good amount of time. So there's going to be a lot of movement, and he can't really do a whole lot. So technically, the 2nd place is just not really there.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Should be interesting.
Cool. Well, that's the UFC Fight Night from this past Saturday. Anything else we want to touch on? I will say U.S. men's hockey versus Canada. One hell of a game. I don't watch hockey that much, but that was probably one of the best hockey games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. USA, baby, let's go. Jack Hughes, golden goal. That was amazing. When I was a little kid, 2010, Sidney Crosby scored a goal on the Sabres at the time goalie, Ryan Miller, in the gold medal game, and it broke my freaking heart.
Mm-hmm.
I was 11 back then, and fast forward all these years, like USA winning gold on the 46th anniversary of the 1980 team. Like, that shit was destined. Hellebuck was amazing. Shout out to him. Shout out to USA Hockey. That was a huge win. Which is good for the sport. Hopefully a lot more fans and people start tuning into hockey because it is one of the best sports, and that's a good way to feel united as a country and also like proud as a fan of the sport that was able to captivate so many people.
Well said. Well said. Lawrence, anything? Did we forget anything?
No, we haven't forgotten anything. No, shout out to them. Great job. Hellebuck, like you said, I think Jack Hughes said it best. Jack Hughes might have won MVP, or I don't think they had an MVP, but everyone was saying Jack Hughes won MVP. Jack Hughes said it best. Hellebuck definitely should have gotten MVP. That man had so many saves, and they were all in continuous fashion too. I mean, the man just had to keep saving because Canada was just shooting because they had nothing else to do. They were just going for it. And honestly, the United States, they desperately needed that OT because they were getting rolled kind of in the third. That power play, they didn't do a whole lot to like really bring out excitement that they were going to change something. So like honestly, props to Hellebuck. I mean, he literally allowed them to have that ability.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Huge shout out to him.
So I think the excuses online, I don't know if you guys have seen them, to our Canadian friends.
Yeah,
we love you. It was fun, but please stop crying because we're just collecting the tears, and we'll be back for you in 4 years. So like, keep crying. Don't just eat it. Come on now. Hearing that we should do all this, like I can't believe it. Really, you can't just be happy we won.
Hey, I mean, I'd be butthurt too, but they won more than enough gold medals. Let us win one.
That's what I'm saying.
It's been over 40 years, man. Let us win one.
Yeah, right. Facts.
Let us win one.
Well, probably
I don't have anything else.
Go ahead. The Hellebuck is a Winnipeg goalkeeper, so as a Canadian, they probably feel some kind of way that a Canadian, technically an American, that definitely has to be some kind of a Canadian citizen to play 9 months of the year, 7 months of the year in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sidney Crosby plays in Pittsburgh. I don't think it's that deep, but I just think that I don't know. They were just upset, but also the point was right. I mean, the dude that was like the player on Canada was like, if you watch the game, you know who was the better team, and it's like I'm not even saying that America's better than them. I'm just saying that we beat them in the game that mattered the most. So we're gold. I mean, think about how many games in basketball or baseball or whatever sport, football, even, where it's the better team doesn't always win. That's the whole point of winning. You still have to go win. It doesn't matter if you're the better team. That's why upsets happen.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, shout out to American hockey, man. It makes me so proud and so happy.
Yep, huge shout out to USA getting the job done. I will say later this week, we'll probably touch on some NBA post All-Star break, seeing how the rest of the league is shaping up, and who's probably gonna make a big playoff push here coming.
Wizards are winning.
Only in a couple more months, playoffs.
Winning too many games.
Playoffs are gonna start, so we definitely got to jump back on the NBA wagon as the news cycle starts to slow down. But other than that, everyone, we're gonna head on out. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, and we will see you later this week.